You know how long it takes me to do anything just because I need it to be perfect? When I'm doing things, when I'm making things, creating whatever, there's a lot of voices going on, analyzing what I'm creating as I'm creating it. Honestly, my best creations have just been things where I've gone with the flow of creating them. I have not been like, and now I'm at this step. I do maybe subliminally acknowledge where I am, but it's not something I'm hyper fixating on where it's like, oh, I need to make sure that this is like this and that's like this and this like this. Like, it's very much just a flow state. So whenever I do get all these voices going, I know I'm not in my flow state right now because of how many voices are bombarding me as I'm creating it, and it's like making me go back and forth and take out too much or put in too much or whatever. Even still, there's that judgment of like, am I taking out too much? Like, there's just too much judgment. And then I remember that a lot of this is coming from voices that aren't even my own, because truly, girl, how many opinions can really be your own? Like, if it was my opinions, why are we arguing with each other? Like, wouldn't I know what I want? In my head, when there's just like a big conflict, I know that I gotta take a breath and remember what will make me feel the best about this. No matter how it goes, no matter what it ends up as, what will make me feel like the best. And I honestly feel like the memory of the process of creation is so beautiful in and of itself. When I'm creating something and I remember the process of making it, why I made it, and kind of like using it as a tool to get to know myself, as opposed to making what I create cater a certain audience or cater an image I want to serve, or whatever. There are no rules in creativity, okay? But I'm just saying, this is the most important lesson I've ever learned in my damn life. Think about the time where you've just been so into what you've been doing. You're in the present moment of it. You feel very connected to it, as in what you're looking at, what you're creating, you see the value in it. And by see, I honestly mean more so feel. Like, you feel the value that's coming out of what you're creating. It's almost like a vibe that's just pumping into your bloodstream, and you're like, can this be my lifeline forever? Was there any other voice going on as you were doing that, as you were in your flow state? Do you remember any like conversations maybe you had or things you were thinking of? If not, dude, that's like meditative as hell. It's important to really surrender to what you're putting out. Honestly, listen, surrendering is kind of a vibe, and let me tell you why. This is personal to me. I can really react to a lot of intrusive thoughts I have, okay? And so when I do that, I tend to take myself out of the space I'm in, and the more that I perpetuate that feeling by conversing with it, so I get intrusive thought and I'm like, dude, why did I think that? Oh, dude, what does that mean? Like, that's kind of how my brain will cascade. But the most important thing is knowing how to accept that thought as a existing thing and still just flowing past it. It gets to the point where you just see it as a thought that you have, and it doesn't reflect your value or your worth or whatever ever reason would lead us to have such a personal emotional distaste towards this thought. So just becoming aware of that, because it doesn't really serve us to always react so emotionally. And I think especially when you have a focus, okay, when you're trying to focus on something and what you want to create, you have a vision for it, you want to know how to stick to the vision, and not in the way of depleting yourself of any creativity, instead of like neglecting to allow yourself free will to change up whatever you're creating just because, you know, okay, now you feel like you have a better idea. Like, it's kind of a different thing to be able to shift gears, like, compared to just going with like emotional outburst and allowing that to affect what you're creating, to where you like look back and you're like, dude, if I had more of a focus, this would look different and it would look more like how I want it to. When you're emotional and you don't clock yourself, your action may not reflect your truest desires. Sometimes we think we want to do something, say something or change something or believe something even, just because of an emotion we're feeling. And we have to be able to distinguish the feeling versus the reality that we want ourselves to be in. I ideally would like to be in that reality where I'm giving myself what I know is good for me, what I want, as opposed to kind of screwing myself over and self-sabotaging. And I do it all the time. I do it all the freaking time because I am a perfectionist, and for who, I don't know. Because honestly, I judge what I create so hard sometimes, especially when it's stuff like this that I'm putting out there, whatever. And it's like not even that big of a deal. Like truly, it's not. But the story that I kind of tell with it, and also because I know people who know me who watch this, which like cool, period, awesome. Thanks for pulling up. But also sometimes it's just like I don't want to say something I don't mean, and then it's on the internet, and like I don't know where it is, because I'm gonna be real, bro. My videos are like 20 minutes long, and there's like 50 videos on here. Like I don't even know what I said in a couple. Actually, I will say there's some things where I still agree with myself, like in my past videos. Okay, this is a tangent, but I'm not the same girl I was when I made them. Like in the way of course I'm changing because I'm growing, right? We all are. But it's kind of nice to see me when I just thought, am I trying to say something profound right now? Like I'm saying like, yeah, we're growing. Yeah, like I'm not the same person I was. Like, no, duh. But I like honestly just think it's so beautiful to see and document that growth. So that's one of the reasons why I do this, right? And so remembering that keeps me wanting to just create authentically, because I'm like, when I go back, I'm going to see how I thought. And that's kind of research. Me when I'm researching my own thoughts over time. Longitudinal study with me. Will you publish my paper? No, but seriously, like also just for me to have. I'm someone who I journal so much, okay? So that's like another big reason. Like I love the preservation and the growth of something. The growth of something and like seeing it at each point. Let's say you want to design clothes. That's a random example. Or write songs. As you create these things, you're like, oh, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. If you can't find what it is you want to change or what it is you want with a good reasoning that you actually agree with, then typically we don't have to change anything. Remember that there's not a big consequence to not being perfect. And if anything, taking out that pressure of having to be perfect just makes you want to act more. It keeps you motivated. You're literally preserving energy, because imagine how much energy we waste in a day just thinking about negativity and thinking about things we can't do. That's still energy. Like no matter how much you can justify how you think is fair, like, oh, I'm going to spend 20 minutes thinking about how I just spent $10 on a burrito because I believe that I don't have like money. Am I really going to sit there for 10 minutes and rehearse these thoughts in my head? I'm putting energy into that. It's tiring. And some of us don't even realize how tiring it is until we're like, hey, what about thinking about things that give me energy, that make me want to move, that make me feel good, that make me feel alive and awake? Freaking life should just be whimsical, in my opinion. Like, I'm just here to enjoy life. So no matter if anyone says something about, oh, you being too delusional, or like, your positivity is not realistic, don't freaking listen to them! Let me tell you, I'm sorry. How many cases of people like being too happy exist where it's a problem? I'm not talking like happiness of like, oh, I'm feeding these shallow satisfactions that honestly could be very harmful to people around me, and can disturb the peace of the freaking world. But I think it makes me happy in a sick, twisted way. Like that's different. So any freaking negative person that's gonna sit here, at least to me, and be like, think realistically, we're just gonna see this differently, and that's okay. But it's because I feel happier when I'm happy. And I do better when I'm happy. Do you know how many months I freaking waste being sad? In every period of my life where I actually just felt grateful, I had so much energy, and I swear I did like 30 different things in a day. And I was doing something so much that it was just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Like my life like felt so constant. And at the most negative filled, limitation filled, doubt filled points of my life where I can't get myself to do anything, I don't even believe I can get something. Anxiety, where am I gonna go? What's happening? Everything is hard. I swear I was the same person for like 3 months. There's a difference in those ways of life, and every single thing in your day-to-day life plays a part into that. All these judgmental voices just don't even carry a story that you want to believe. What purpose are they serving you? What is the function of this? First of all, everything can be an affirmation. Anything can be an affirmation. What's an affirmation? Oh, it's the thing I say in the mirror 20 times a day to keep me positive and optimistic and confident. Da-da-da. Sure, it's that. But also, it's a statement that you say out of confidence, sincerity. There's a truth to it. A double punch into a wall is what it feels like. Okay, affirmed, affirmative, you know what I mean? So anything saying I am, think about when you use I am in a day-to-day life. What weight does it carry when you say it normally, normal everyday life? I am Yusra. I am 22 years old. I am from this place. I am of this origin. I'm Moroccan. When I say I am, I'm so used to pairing it with something true. Okay, now unless you say I am and you always lie, and so that way maybe you don't have an attachment to the statement I am in the same way that I could have or someone else could have. The point is that I am is typically used with truth statements, with statements that your brain recognizes as factual. When you put in a little droplets of just whatever into a soup of statements that carry weight, you're associating this statement or this characteristic as something that's true, even though you could not truly believe it. Just from my own experience, how I've talked has affected how I've lived so much. There is such a distinct difference between my speech when I was at a low point in life, not low like objectively, like I still had what I needed. The thing is I was just more blinded to it, and therefore perhaps not engage with it as much as I could have. Rather, I engaged in things that aligned with how I felt about myself, and how I felt about myself was affirmed by how I spoke about myself. How you talk can seem like such a little thing, it doesn't really matter, but a big chunk of your life is self-talk, and you cannot deny its influence it has on your actions, or maybe where you are right now, or maybe on the capacity of a vision you can have. Every statement that claims truth shapes a limit. There's a line, because when you believe something is true, things that are not that will be false. And I guess I deterred from the creative process quite a bit there. But maybe that was just a part of my creative process. I really hope you guys enjoy. Really, the main thing I want to stress is just like, if you have a vision, an end goal to what you want to create and who you want to be, don't doubt that it can't come true. Don't doubt the steps you're taking. If you're taking a step, that's a step. And honestly, pacing looks crazy. It looks different from person to person. Achievements look different from person to person, but I promise persistence is key. And following your heart is key. If you believe that your heart is in that place and you like it, and it's something that you feel like you could do, it's like a passion, like you could do forever, that's a good sign. Get creative. And answer your mom's phone call. Okay, I love you guys.